And police say that a Lyft driver shot at two men attempting to take his car in one of the city's latest attempted carjackings. Steve Keeley live in Center City with more. These guys got more than they bargained for. Good morning.
Yeah, this is when you always hear that TV news awful cliche, he turned the tables, right? Well, a lot of viewers always remind us that he turned it for the good, right? So here is the first scene. We had three different scenes here. And this, let me remind you, is after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, right across from Fairmount Park, right as people are outside. So there's witnesses at all the scenes. And it's hard to believe that this is the brazenness of these carjackers. And these two guys in their 20s intentionally rear-end this Infiniti. That's the thing that's happening right now. They bump you to make you stop and get out. And they do it right in front of people, so they don't even care. And this Infiniti driver has a woman passenger in his back seat, and it takes 2 bumps for him to say, hey, what's going on? And when he gets out, the passenger in a Honda gets out with an automatic rifle and points it at him, again, in front of witnesses. And he gets out with his hands up and says, hey, you can have my car, but let me get this lady out. I'm a Lyft driver. Let me get her out because you don't want to take her and have a kidnapping. So they let him get her out of there, and then he waits for the carjacker to get into his car. Then he pulls his gun, and he has a concealed carry permit because you would think every Lyft driver and Uber driver who doesn't want to die on the job would have that as well. Here's the second scene. This is where his car ends up just about 2 blocks away, and look at the bullet holes. He blows the driver through the window, through the door handle, through the door frame, hits that guy at least twice in the torso, and that guy stops just 3 blocks away, right on Parkside Avenue, right at Fairmount Park, and falls out of the driver's side. And people call police thinking, hey, there's a shooting victim here. Meantime, he then turns to the Honda and shoots that driver through the passenger side of that. That guy makes it 2 blocks in the opposite direction after making a U-turn, and he collapses at Lancaster and 43rd Street. And then so more people call cops there. Meanwhile, he calls the police with his female passenger and witnesses who tell police the whole story, and they realize these 2 guys that they rushed to the hospital are now not victims, but prisoners.
This 38-year-old Lyft driver, after being rear-ended and carjacked, he pulled his weapon and fired shots at both vehicles. The vehicle that was stolen from him fired shots at the Honda. The driver, who had the getaway car, struck both of these individuals, and now they're both at the hospital as prisoners. Very dangerous situation. Fortunately, our Lyft driver, our victim, wasn't shot because he had a rifle put to him, and our Lyft driver had a weapon that he used, and he shot both of the perpetrators.
So this case again illustrates why so many delivery drivers, food delivery drivers, pizza drivers, Uber and Lyft drivers are all running the gun stores and getting legal guns because this is what's happening on a daily basis all around the country and a lot of times here in Philadelphia. Bill, the other thing that you may want to get into is the armored car and tank business, because I'm sure a lot of delivery drivers and Uber drivers would like to be in a tank with a gun turret to keep themselves safe. And here's the other thing. What are you going to do now? You're driving around and you get rear-ended. Are you supposed to leave the scene of an accident and worry about getting a ticket, or have your car damaged by somebody who was maybe on their phone and rear-ended you? Because now the first thought, if you hear stories like this repeatedly, is that, oh my God, I'm getting carjacked. I don't want to stop here even though I've been rammed from behind. So that's the other quandary right now. Everybody watching is thinking, like, what do I do if I'm rear-ended? Because this is happening right in the middle of the afternoon, like yesterday, right on Parkside. Police had so many witnesses at all the events at all 3 locations because this is right in the daytime, and people thinking, I got an accident victim here, or I have 2 shooting victims, let me help. Little do they know, it's 2 armed carjackers. They found that rifle that the guy had after he collapsed out of the car inside the Infiniti.
It's interesting too, Steve, because as you pointed out, that's what they tell you to do, like go to a populated area to make sure that everything is okay. And these guys are doing it in front of a group of witnesses.